2026 meeting of the Oregon State Lottery Commission will come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Conrad,
Here.
Commissioner Dodd,
Here.
Commissioner Geller,
Here.
Commissioner Weller.
Here.
The record will reflect that Chair Ramirez is excused. All other commissioners are participating via the web meeting and a quorum is present. I will serve as the acting chair for today's meeting. Will the clerk please inform the commission of any guests who have joined the meeting today?
Yes, we have Nate Carter from DOJ with us today.
Thank you. Public comment has been received in advance of the meeting. Public comment is provided as an opportunity to receive input from the public. Commissioners will not respond to questions or comments during the meeting. A full copy of the written comments received were provided in the commissioners' packet in advance of the meeting. Will the clerk please share any comments received that meet the guidelines outlined in the lottery's website?
Chair Geller, Commissioners, Pete Goodman submitted 4 comments expressing concerns about Oregon lottery operations, oversight, transparency, retailer compliance practices, and the agency's relationship with 2 major vendors. He opposed a proposed retailer compliance rule change, questioned lottery contracting and reporting practices, alleged fraud and regulatory violations, raised concerns about the handling of public comments, and referenced several articles and investigations he authored that he believes support additional review and accountability. Jana Forrest submitted a comment related to retailer contract matters. She suggested changes to how lottery handles non-sufficient fund situations and surety bond requirements, stating that changes could reduce administrative burden and minimize interruptions to retailer operations. Roger Humble submitted the following comment. I am concerned about the proposed investment that will provide for future iLottery functionality if policy guidance were to change. Recently, I have been curious about the launch of DK Replay, which represents a departure from traditional sports betting by allowing fast-paced, continuous wagering without the natural start and stop times around the clock. Building infrastructure that could eventually allow Scratch-It products to be played digitally, continuously, and around the clock is deeply troubling. Research on online gambling consistently identifies highly accessible, rapid, and continuous forms of gambling, particularly online slots and similar products, as carrying substantially higher risks for gambling harm than that of traditional products, such as brick-and-mortar purchase Scratch-It tickets. Promoting a handheld digital product with the characteristics of a slot machine that is available 24 hours a day will surely increase harm to Oregonians, give the lottery an unfair market advantage over tribal casinos, and negatively impact brick-and-mortar VLT revenues. I urge the Commission to consider the negative public health and economic implications now before greenlighting infrastructure that will allow Scratch-It tickets to perform like handheld slot machines. Glenn Yamagata, the Executive Director of the Oregon Council on Problem Gambling, submitted the following comment. Dear members of the Oregon Lottery Commission, the Oregon Council on Problem Gambling, OCPG, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to reducing gambling-related harm in Oregon through public awareness, prevention, research, and advocacy. OCPG has worked closely with the Oregon Lottery and other state and community partners for many years to promote safer gambling and reduce the potential harms associated with gambling. OCPG is submitting these comments regarding the proposed major procurement contract with Interaction Gaming LLC, Gambit, for replacement of the lottery's mobile application and website. We recognize the need for the lottery to maintain and modernize its technology and are not raising concerns about replacement of the existing mobile application or website. Our concern relates specifically to the proposed master service agreement's ability to support future product development, including iLottery functionality. Lottery products are already the most widely used form of legalized gambling in Oregon. The introduction of iLottery would represent a significant expansion of gambling access by allowing customers to purchase and play lottery products remotely and on demand. Such a change could substantially reduce the time and location barriers that currently limit the frequency and immediacy of lottery play. We recognize the current memo conditions iLottery functionality on a future change in policy guidance. Nevertheless, establishing the contractual and technological infrastructure to support iLottery could make implementation considerably easier should policy change in the future. OCPG believes that a change of this significance should receive careful public consideration and should occur through an explicit legislative process or referral to Oregon voters, rather than extension of an existing technology procurement. OCPG would welcome the opportunity to assist the Commission and policymakers in evaluating this issue, including reporting on available evidence regarding iLottery, experiences in other states, potential harms, impacts on vulnerable populations, and consumer protection measures. OCPG supports innovation that benefits Oregonians, while recognizing that expanded access to gambling can also expand exposure to gambling-related risk. We stand ready to serve as a resource to the Commission as it considers these issues. Sincerely, Glenn Yamagata. That concludes the public comments received this month. Full copies of the comment submissions may be requested via a public records request on the Oregon Lottery's website.
Thank you. We'll now have the director's report.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you, Acting Chair Geller. I'm going to start today with some lottery news. At the end of last month, a number of our lottery employees attended the North American Association of State and Provincial Lotteries, we call that NASPL, Professional Development Conference in Seattle, Washington, hosted by the Washington Lottery. This conference provided a valuable opportunity for our team members to connect with peers from other lotteries across the country, exchange best practices, bring new ideas back to Oregon, and just strengthen our partnerships across the lottery industry. Also, our Assistant Director for Security, Justin Hedlund, and one of our analysts, Omar Gonzalez-Barba, presented at that conference on Lottery's Threat Assessment Program. Their presentation was very well received, had strong interest from a lot of the attendees, and many lotteries have reached out at this point trying to adopt similar programs. So I want to thank them for that presentation and the work that they put into that program here at Oregon Lottery. Also want to take a minute to recognize Spencer Haley, Manager of Operational Excellence here at our lottery. He was named NASPL's 2026 Powers Award recipient. This award recognizes lottery and vendor professionals whose performance, integrity, and dedication have made meaningful impact within not only their organization, but across the broader lottery industry. Spencer's recognition not only reflects his individual talent and contributions to this organization, but definitely shows the talent that we have across the lottery. So congratulations to Spencer for this honor. It's definitely well-deserved. Moving on to sales update, I have a great report for July. July delivered a record-setting start to fiscal year 27, generating $125.7 million in net revenue. This surpassed the previous July record, which was $124.2 million in July of 22, and represents a 9.3% increase over July of 2025. Video lottery continues to be the primary driver of overall performance, generating more than $101 million in net revenue, up 6% year over year. As Oregon Lottery's largest product category, video lottery accounted for more than 80% of the total revenue during the month and continues to benefit from game portfolio management and strong retailer engagement across the state. Talking about sports betting, it also delivered exceptional growth. Net revenue increased nearly 78% compared to July of 25, while total wagers reached approximately 81 million, up 44% year over year. Actively benefiting from a strong summer sports calendar, including the final stages of the FIFA World Cup, as well as favorable sports outcomes that contributed to more than $10 million in net revenue during the month. Our draw games, we had higher jackpot activity supported by strong growth. Mega Millions net revenue increased 118%, while Powerball increased 10%, driven by elevated jackpot levels and increased player interest through the month. Mega Millions reached a peak jackpot amount of $800 million before being won in July, while Powerball climbed to more than $700 million by the month's end. Partially offsetting this growth, Megabucks net revenue declined 67% due to low jackpot levels compared to July of 2025. Scratch-Its also finished modestly below the prior year's results. Oregon Lottery's retail network remained strong and continued to expand lightly. As of August 1st, Oregon Lottery has 3,788 active retail contracts statewide, an increase of 22 locations, or approximately 0.6% compared to the prior year at this point. Overall, July's results demonstrated a strong start to FY27, and we're excited to see where this next month takes us. And now a few winter stories. When Mariella of Cornelius came to our office to claim her prize, she knew she had a winning ticket, but she did not know how much. When she presented her ticket that she had purchased at Plaid Pantry in Cornelius, she was surprised to find out it was worth $50,000. She was speechless, and when asked how she would spend the prize, she stated that she needed some time to figure that out. Marianne from Bend was playing Big City Fives Diamonds at Lava Lanes in Bend. She initially didn't understand what was happening on the screen or to her machine and called the bartender over for some help, which is when she learned that she had won $14,628.60 in a jackpot prize. She started to cry and could not believe her luck. She intends to use her winnings to pay some bills. This month, a DraftKings customer from Albany placed a $5 9-leg parlay across the WNBA and MLB, utilize scoring proposition markets. After all sections won, the customer took home $10,363 on his original $5 wager. And that concludes my director's report for August, and I will turn it back over to you, Chair Geller.
Thank you, Director Wells. We'll now move on to the minutes. The minutes of the previous commission meeting have been circulated to the commission in advance of today's meeting. If there are no changes to the minutes, is there a motion to approve?
I move the minutes of the Oregon State Lottery Commission meeting held on July 31st, 2026 be approved as final as presented today.
And is there a second?
I second that motion.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Conrad,
Aye.
Commissioner Dodd,
Aye.
Commissioner Weller,
Aye.
Chair Geller.
Aye. We'll now move on to the financial report.
Good morning, Chair Geller, Commissioners, and Director Wells. For the record, my name is Carl Strauss, Controller for the Oregon Lottery, and today we will be reviewing the year-end financial results for fiscal 2026. In fiscal year 2026, Lottery transferred $928 million to the state. This equates to a bond coverage ratio of 4.7, which exceeds the amount required under the bond covenants for the Oregon bonds backed by lottery revenues. Expense as a percentage of gross sales was 3.2%, which is consistent with the prior year. Also during the year, we spent $20 million of our designated investment fund reserves. This $20 million was the planned replacement of video lottery terminals throughout the year. And we ended the year with a fully funded contingency reserve right at the cap of $150 million. Looking at total net revenue for the 12-month period ending June 2026 was just under 1.5 billion. This was 12.6 million below forecast, but 54.8 million higher than the previous year. This miss on net revenue compared with budget can be attributed to our sports book, which, although sports revenue increased 8% on the year to contribute 97 million of net revenue, it did fall short of budget expectations by 13.8 million. Both video and traditional lottery products performed slightly better than expected, as video grew 1.6% year over year, and traditional grew 18%, primarily due to the run-up of the multi-state jackpots throughout the year. Looking at direct expenses, no surprises as we ended the year 12.4 million under budget. The notable deviations from budget are items that we had been tracking and reporting on throughout the year. Game vendor charges was 7.6 million under budget due to the lower sportsbook net revenue, and depreciation was 4.4 million under budget due to the mid-year change of estimated useful life for video lottery terminals for accounting purposes. The only line item over budget was game equipment parts and maintenance, which came in 554,000 over budget, and this was primarily related to the inventory management of spare parts. Gross profit finished the year just under 1.1 billion and was 200,000 below budget, which was the cumulative effect of revenue 12.6 million below expectations being offset by the direct expenses 12.4 million under budget. Indirect revenue ended the year at 19.8 million, or 1.8% below the budget of 20.2 million. Other income represents the interest earned on cash holdings, which was under budget as the interest rate earned on short-term cash holdings declined throughout the year before leveling off. Moving down to our indirect expenses, the costs for market research were fully offset or reimbursed by vendor research credits. Labor costs, as reported on the salaries, wages, and benefits line, provided 7.3 million of budget savings due to the combination of a 4.2 million lower than expected pension costs for the year, as well as the management of vacant positions throughout the year. Service and supplies costs were 7.4 million below budget due to several factors. Some notable highlights included 4.1 million savings in professional services, primarily due to the shifting project timelines for the digital claims and payments mobile app, the launch of a new multi-state game, and other technology projects being delayed. Technology expenses were 900,000 under budget, as some budgeted software costs met the criteria under GASB 96 to be capitalized. Intergovernmental charges was 780,000 below budget. This was primarily due to the lower than anticipated costs associated with our audit through the Secretary of State. And our retail network costs provided 660,000 of budget savings. This related to the project to migrate retailers over to our newer network lines. The project contributed to an increase in total network costs of nearly 4.7 million on the year, but this increase was less than the expected, resulting in those budget savings. In total, indirect expenses was just under 137 million, which was 15.7 million under budget. We ended the year with 938 million of net profit, which was 15.1 million better than expected. And assuming that we replenish the investment reserve funds that we used during the year, we would have a remaining surplus of nearly 15.1 million. This would allow us to increase the cap on investment reserve holdings by 10 million, while also allowing us to send nearly 5.1 million to the state in the form of administrative savings. And before we move to those motions, I wanted to pause for any questions. The comprehensive variance analysis and detailed year-end reports are included in the commission packets and meeting materials, along with the July month-end results, which will be part of our discussion when we meet to review the first quarter of fiscal 2027. At this time, we'd be happy to take any questions. Hearing none, Chair Geller, you have the motion requesting.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the financial statement?
I move that the Oregon State Lottery financial statements for the months ended April 30 and May 31 and the June 30, 2026 fiscal year-end financial statements be approved for the record as presented today.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Conrad,
Aye.
Commissioner Dodd,
Aye.
Commissioner Weller,
Aye.
Chair Geller.
Aye. For the record, the motion is passed. And we will go back to Carl Strauss for our next budget item.
Thank you. Chair Geller, you have a motion requesting to increase the investment fund cap to 60 million to provide funding capacity for future agency investments and strategic initiatives. We would request your approval of that motion.
Is there a motion to increase the investment fund cap?
I move that the Oregon Lottery Commission approve increasing the investment fund cap to $60 million to provide funding capacity for future agency investments and strategic initiatives.
Do I hear a second?
Seconded.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Conrad,
Aye.
Commissioner Dodd,
Aye.
Commissioner Weller,
Aye.
Chair Geller.
Aye. For the record, the motion is passed.
Thank you, Commissioners. Next, we would like to transfer the remaining fiscal year 2026 administrative savings back to the state. You should have a motion to approve that transfer as well.
Yes. Is there a motion to approve the allocation of administrative savings?
I move that the Oregon State Lottery Commission approve the allocation of fiscal year 26 administrative savings, designating $30 million for the investment fund and transferring the remaining balance to the state of Oregon as administrative savings.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Conrad,
Aye.
Commissioner Dodd,
Aye.
Commissioner Weller,
Aye.
Chair Geller.
Aye. For the record, the motion is passed.
Chair Geller.
Yeah. We'll now turn it back over to Director Wells for a major information about a major procurement item.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. In your packets, you guys should have information regarding a major procurement with Interactive Gaming LLC, also known as Gambit. Following a lengthy and robust RFP process, lottery leadership believes that Gambit is the right partner to help us modernize our current lottery application and digital services platforms. It's important to note that this request is solely for a 6-month discovery phase to validate requirements, confirm technical approaches, and develop a detailed implementation plan. At conclusion, staff will return to commission with an update and, if appropriate, seek your approval before entering into a long-term implementation or ongoing service agreement with Gambit. Our objectives for this are to improve the customer experience in our app, increase accessibility, streamline digital asset management, reduce payment center transactions, and reduce cash handling at our retailers, which has always been a concern. Also for the replacement of just some aging technology systems that are currently behind our app. One of the key capabilities that I really wanted to make sure is called out for this is enabling digital claims and payments. So this is for our players to be able to validate and claim certain prize winnings digitally, so they do not have to drive to one of the payment centers in Salem or Wilsonville, which we believe would significantly improve accessibility and equity for everybody across Oregon. Obviously, our payment centers are right here in the Willamette Valley, and it is difficult at times for people on the east side or Southern Oregon to actually get to these payment centers. And so we really believe that this is a huge step forward in that accessibility that we've been seeking. Now, I do want to be clear that while the procurement documentation refers to iGaming and iLottery, as you heard in some of the public comments, as it potential future state capability, neither have been authorized by the governor's office and neither are within scope of this project. Digital payment capabilities would be the foundation to any future online sales platform. And for that reason, we believed it was essential to select a provider that would have flexibility and expertise to support the lottery in future evolving needs or future policy decisions that would create opportunities for online sales channels. But at this time, iGaming, iLottery are not in scope for this project and are not something we're seeking, right? It is the modernization of the technology and that digital claims and payments. So simply put, this procurement's about modernizing, improving the customer experience, improving operational efficiencies, and positioning us to be effectively able to adapt to the future needs, but remaining focused on current authority and the current mission. So just another reminder, today is inform only on this topic. It'll be our next meeting that will be seeking approval. We asked several members of the selection committee to be here today and are happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Do any of the commissioners have questions at this time?
Chair, if I can, just a quick comment. Director, thank you for addressing the public comment and the purpose and the scope of this contract. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, since there are no other questions or comments at this time, we will move on to rulemaking action items.
Thank you, Chair Geller, Commissioners, Director Wells. Good morning. For the record, my name is Chris Scaro. I'm the Rules and Policy Analyst for Lottery, and I have two rulemaking items for you today. These were originally presented to you back in June, and we have completed the public rulemaking process for both changes. The first change would allow retailers to pay prizes by money order. This is just authorizing an additional cashless prize payment method for our retailers who don't have cash on hand during all hours of operations. We did receive 11 comments from retailers who were opposed to the change, and those comments were provided to the Commission and Director prior to today's meeting for consideration. The comments were from retailers who don't offer money orders in their normal course of business, such as a bar or restaurant. And so understandably, they were opposed to being required to pay with money orders. We did clarify that this is completely optional for the retailer and was targeted at those retailers who already issue money orders in their normal course of business, like some of our grocery stores and convenience stores. So we hope that resolved their concerns about the change. Director Wells has reviewed the rules and considered all comments received, and he recommends the Commission adopt the amendments as presented today to be effective on September 1st. And happy to talk about this more, and otherwise you'll have a motion in your materials.
Are there any questions before we move to a motion? I'll entertain a motion then.
I move that OAR 177-040-0051, 046-0110, 200-0020 be amended as presented in the meeting materials today, effective September 1, 2026.
And is there a second?
I second that.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Conrad,
Aye.
Commissioner Dodd,
Aye.
Commissioner Weller,
Aye.
Chair Geller.
Aye. For the record, the motion has passed. We'll now move on to a second rulemaking agenda item.
Thank you. The other change would exempt food truck owners from being subject to background checks whenever they're contracted with a lottery retailer. Our compliance staff recommended this change as they don't think background checks are necessary for these individuals as they're unlikely to have any control or influence over our retailers' business operations or finances. We did not receive any public comment for you to consider today. Director Wells reviewed the rule and recommends the commission adopt it as presented today, also to be effective on September 1st. And happy to answer questions, but again, you'll have a motion in your materials.
Are there any questions or comments before we move forward with a motion?
I move that OAR 177-040-0000 be amended as presented in the meeting materials today, effective September 1, 2026.
And do I hear a second?
Second.
And the clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Conrad,
Aye.
Commissioner Dodd,
Aye.
Commissioner Weller,
Aye.
Chair Geller.
Aye. For the record, the motion is passed.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your work on this. We will now move forward with any additional commissioner communications. Does anybody have anything else to add? No? Okay. Well, hearing no further business, the next meeting is scheduled for Friday, September 25th. And if there are no objections, we will adjourn the meeting at this time.
Thank you,
Hearing no-
Commissioner.
Thank you.
We're
Thank you,
adjourned.
one and all.
Thank you so much. See you
Thank you,
next month.
Commissioners. Yeah,
Oh,
have a good
bye.
day.
Thank you.